Hi, everybody. My name is Holly Lehman. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Head in the Cloud, Heart in the Community. Believe it or not, friends, this is going to be video series episode 19. I am so excited. This is our second interview in 2022, and I am very excited for today's guest. But as we know, I'm here based in Seattle, Washington, and thanks to this new hybrid work world that we have, I get to travel abroad no matter where we would like, as long as we get to showcase our special guest. And I always travel with one of my nearest and dearest. Izzy, where are you at today?
Hi, Holly. Thank you so much. Well, I'm based, normally in Switzerland. However, I'm currently in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And today I'm extra excited for our guest. I mean, we're always very happy, any guest that we have on our show. But for today's episode, we will head over to the EMEA Lead Community Program Management at Microsoft. She's my MVP lead for the DACH region. And for those who don't know what the DACH region is, so it's for Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Her roots are in Bella Italia. However, she is based in Germany. And yeah, so let's head over to Hamburg and find out more about Alicia. Alicia, say hi and tell us more about yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you, Holly and Izzy, for having me here today. My name is Alicia or Alice, so both is absolutely fine. I was born near Rome, but I grew up in Sardinia, which is a wonderful island in the Mediterranean Sea, by the way. But I've been living in Hamburg, Germany for many years, and I'm working as a community program manager for Microsoft. So I have the pleasure of working with our amazing MVPs across Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And I'm truly honored to be here. So thank you again so much.
Well, we are so excited to have you. It's really nice that on a community thriving show that we get to interview someone who is truly head in the cloud, heart in the community. So thank you for coming with us today on this little remote journey. I have a question for you. Quite often we have guests that listen in because they're either new in their career or they're trying to grow their career. And personally, I really admire what you've created in your career. For people that are listening, what's some tips and tricks that you would share for them, for those that are looking to really, skyrocket their career?
Yes, so when people come to me and ask me what they need to do to grow their career, I always use my personal experience and what I've done in the past as an example. I grew up in a very small town, as I said, in Sardinia, and I didn't know at the time exactly what I wanted to do in life. So I had to go through many different experiences before being able to decide. And when I talk especially to young people, and I notice they are a bit concerned or they think it's not okay if you don't have a clear career path in mind, then I try to tell them, hey, that's fine. Of course you don't know, because there are so many wonderful things you can do in life. And I think it's okay to take a step back and decide and figure it out, because I'm sure you'll find your way at some point. What I think is very important, on the other hand, if you want to grow in your career, but also as a person in general, is to remain curious and always keen to learn new things. It could be you learn alone, or it could be you learn through other people at meetups or events. And I also think you shouldn't be afraid of change, but be open to new adventures, because those challenges will make you grow and learn and will make you stronger in the end. And I know that this may sound like a cliche maybe, but I deeply believe that you can achieve everything in your life if you keep this attitude. So if you are open-minded, if you are curious, and also if you trust yourself and if you are brave, which is, I think, such a wonderful message, the idea that you can achieve everything you want in your life. And indeed, how do people say, fortune favors the brave, I think. And I believe that's true. So again, being brave and curious and open to all the new things the life will send across your way. So this would be my tip.
What a beautiful and inspiring answer. Thank you so much. And yeah, so you mentioned young people. So let's go a little bit back to young you. We've done our research and we've seen that you've done an internship at the Italian embassy in Washington, D.C. in the United States. Can you tell us a bit more how it was for you to intern abroad so far away from home, and also as a young woman to go to the US and do an internship? And please tell us about your experiences back then.
Yeah, sure thing. So this was a very interesting time of my life. I was only 24, and it was the first time for me in the US. I remember I sent my resume to the cultural office of the embassy, or basically this was the Italian Cultural Institute in DC, which belongs to the embassy. And I've asked them if they needed some help for a couple of months. And unfortunately, the internship wasn't paid, but I was lucky because my mom paid for my flight, and my former boyfriend was studying at the Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore at the time, so I could stay there for free. I only had to take the train every morning from Baltimore to DC to go to work. And the office was right in the city center, very small, so there were only 4 or 5 people working there, but lovely people with the purpose of fostering the Italian culture and the Italian language in the US, and more specifically in the DC area. So I found myself helping with the organization of music events, cultural gatherings, exhibitions. I also remember we had a couple of meetings with the Embassy of France and the German Cultural Institute to discuss about some events to run together. And this whole environment was so vibrant and so active that I loved it. And I thought at the time already that languages and cultures are so strong and so powerful. And if you offer people the opportunity to learn a bit more about your own culture, then those people will also understand better why you behave the way you behave, why you think the way you think. So I really loved it. And I wanted to be a part of it for a while. And also being the first time in the US, I remember everything seemed to be so huge to me. Like the streets, the cars, the buildings.
Supermarket.
Yeah, supermarket. I think I've missed, at the beginning at least, our small, sweet streets from Europe. And also, Holly, I saw the first time, because I knew this from movies, people walking on the street with their Starbucks coffee on the way to work, which is something that we don't really do in Italy. Maybe, I don't know, maybe nowadays a bit more, but actually we are not used to it. So I found myself in this very new world. I met people from all over the world, and it was super inspiring and super interesting. And I spent there 3 months, so it was absolutely a lovely experience. I loved it, and I also learned a lot. So I was super happy.
I do find the different cultures just beautiful. And it's one thing that I've always enjoyed about being someone in tech that works with community, because I feel like I now have friends all over the world. And I just think learning about everybody's different nuances and cultures and how they enjoy food or friends and hosting and just day-to-day life, I just find it to be beautiful. And you talked about, be okay with change and be brave when you make different choices. I am very interested. I find people's background and their career story very, very inspiring. It sounds like you've had a lot of different opportunities and changes in your career. So for people listening, how did you finally get into tech?
Yes, so the journey to where I'm now was very long and not straightforward at all. I think this explains why I got 3 different master degrees in 3 different subjects. Because my journey was literally like this, or maybe like this. And I studied international relations at the University of Bologna in Italy. So I moved from Sardinia to the mainland. And at the time, I was also an exchange student at the University of Vienna, Austria, for 6 months. And then I got a scholarship to study at the University of Hamburg, Peace and Security Studies, also very interesting, mostly focused on, again, international cooperation, international collaboration, basically how to avoid wars across the world. And this was a very interesting time in my life. I was in DC after that, but also in Greece. I also spent almost 1 year in San Francisco attending some classes in American culture and American studies. It was a very crazy time, but I was very curious. I wanted to meet people from all over the world and, again, different cultures. And then I was back in Germany, in Hamburg, and I started working for a German business network as a community manager. So I was, I was in charge of managing the Italian community, which was a small community. And this was literally a part-time job while I was trying to figure out the next steps in my career, but also in my life. And, but I loved this role. And, you also have to think that at the time, it was 2006, nobody really knew what a community manager is. And, talking about community leaders, communities was very new. But I grew into that role, and I loved that I had the opportunity to work with people who are so passionate about what they are doing in the community and helping other people. And I was also very lucky because I didn't know at the time, but some years later, this role exploded and big companies started hiring community managers. And I had already some years experience on the ground, let's say, but I was missing somehow the theory. So I decided to study again. And this time I went for marketing and digital communication. And this was a part-time master program in Milan. So it was a weekend master program. So I took a plane every Friday from Hamburg to fly to Milan. Wow. And then I came back on Sunday night. But I was lucky
with how many bags of shopping as well?
No, only a small one and some books. And otherwise I have like super big suitcases. No, it was just a small bag. And this program was supported financially by my company at the time, so I could do this. And after that, I really had the feeling, hey, now I have the practice experience, I have the theory, and I felt really, really strong. And I moved to Milan after some time to join an international company as a community manager. And then back to your question, Holly, after almost 2 years, I moved back to Germany, Munich first, to join Microsoft in 2017. And I remember that I was so, when I saw the role, I was so fascinated by what Microsoft does with communities and for communities. And I also knew a bit the MVP program because I remember I was looking for how to do stuff with Excel, and I found a wonderful YouTube channel of one of our MVPs, and she was explaining exactly how to do stuff. So I knew the program a bit, and I wanted to be part of this world. And I applied for a role in the Global Influencers Community Team, also known as the MVP and RD program team, what I'm now. But I was thinking, hey, let's see if you get the job, because this is a huge tech company. You don't have a technical background. So yeah, you have to see. But I gave it a try. And I think this is really what you always should do in life, because it doesn't matter if things go into another direction, because that's life and this can happen. And when it happens to me, I always say, okay, it had to go that way, but at least I tried. And indeed, after almost 5 years, well, here's where I'm now. And I'm really happy. I feel so privileged to be on this role and to work with the amazing MVPs and the team. And I'm also very thankful that Microsoft appreciated the years of experience I had on the ground without the technical background. And also after 1 year, I got the chance to step into a team lead role, so getting the chance to learn even more and grow. So so the journey was not straightforward, but on the other hand, I think I couldn't be here now without all the experiences I've done. So I'm very thankful for what I could do, and also for the amazing people I've met along my journey who helped me and supported me. So yes, this was. I'm very happy for this journey so far.
Yeah, we always love, it's always a great question, Holly, to indeed find out how did somebody land into tech, and what kind of detours and other experiences before landing into that amazing dream job you have. So Alicia, you already told us a little bit about Sardinia, Bologna, Milan, Hamburg, Berlin. Did you mention Berlin?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you see, I'm already lost by the amount of places. But as we mentioned at the beginning, and you also told us, so your roots are from Italy. You're currently based in Hamburg, Germany. Can you tell us a bit more how it's for you to adapt to a different lifestyle coming from the Italian roots into Germany? Like, did you learn the language? How do you adapt to a new culture? Tell us about your experience.
Yeah, sure thing. So I think that growing up on an island made me very curious about other cultures and languages. I always wanted to see what's beyond the sea. And that's why I started learning German at school, because it sounded so different from my mother tongue, from Italian. And I found it somehow very, very interesting, very, very fascinating. But then I have to admit, Izzy, when I moved to Germany to study, this was a tough time. I had to cry many times. Because I remember I was attending classes at university, and my German was very poor at the time. And people spoke really fast. So professors spoke super fast. I couldn't even take notes. So I was like, hey, how do you want to pass your exams? You understand nothing. You got a scholarship, so you have to take your exams. So it was a bit of a depressing time, and also doing stuff like opening a bank account. Everything seemed to be so complicated to me. So
I feel you.
You understand this absolutely. It was not easy. But again, I have to say I've met people who were willing to support me and to help me, and also things which don't kill you make you stronger. So at some point, I did it. I made it, and now if I look back, I'm really happy that I can say almost all my best friends are German. I got the German citizenship in 2014, so I could keep the Italian one. So I have both. My husband is German. I have to laugh on this because we got married like 6 months ago. It still feels a bit weird to say my husband, but he's my husband. He's German. No, you're right, Izzy. That so when you say that it's a challenge, because to me, probably the most challenging thing in living in Hamburg is that I'm missing a lot the sun, and the weather is a big issue.
Missing Italian food, great pasta, good coffee, tiramisus.
Yeah, I think if you've been living here for your entire life, it's probably something that you don't realize, but I feel sometimes like I cannot breathe, and I need to see the sun and the light. So I need to go somewhere for a couple of days and then come back. So that's really a challenge. And also, of course, people behave in a different way. I personally think that Germans can be very direct. So if they don't like something, they tell you, while Italians tend to be a bit more diplomatic. So like, they don't want to hurt feelings, so they pay attention. And even if I've been living here for many years, I I don't feel entirely comfortable when people are very direct to me. But I think, on the other hand, if you are able to see the positive aspects also in these challenging situations, then you can grow and learn a lot, because a direct feedback can help you become a better person. So this can be also a good thing. And in general, although that's challenging sometimes, I think it's very interesting for me living here. I have the feeling I'm learning every day something new. It can be a word or an easy, you know this for sure. It can be something people do on the street, and I think, oh, that's great. I didn't know people do that. So, you know, I feel like I'm on a daily learning journey, and that's very nice. So, but yeah, at the beginning it was a challenge. So I have to admit this, but now it's good.
You know, I think we forget this, but even within the different disciplines at Microsoft, there's culture. And I know that when I switched from engineering, where it was very direct, very data driven, very red, very like get to the point,
True.
which I'm not good at. I want to know about your kids, your dog, what food you like. And then it's like, let's talk about work. And so I had to learn how to identify with the engineering culture, and it did help me grow, because now I am able to communicate in one way if I'm speaking with an engineer. But then I went to marketing where I belong, and it's like everybody wants to have a 20-minute meeting and chit chat with you. But I think we forget that there are cultures even within our job, you know. And
True.
I did do some research about you, because we haven't personally met yet. And I was very inspired when you did an interview for the Humans of Microsoft, and you chatted about, you know, managing a tech career, and you speak so passionately, like Izzy and I do, about your love for community. Just briefly tell us, what do you love so much about community? And for those listening who are like, what does a program or a community program manager do? Tell us about your day to day.
Yes, so I have to say I'm very thankful to be on this role and to be part of this team, and also to have the opportunity to work every day with people who are so passionate about their work in the community and for helping other people. And you know, MVP, so they are active online in forums. They organize meetups, conferences. They are active on GitHub, so they have so much passion. And I feel sometimes like a sponge, so kind of absorbing all this enthusiasm and passion that it's so contagious. And I end up being so happy and enthusiastic as well. So this is what I really love of working with communities, and especially with tech communities, that you work with people who are really so happy to share their knowledge with other people. And so on the team, of course, we stay in contact with the MVPs, we know them. As Izzy was saying at the beginning, I'm specifically responsible for Germany, Austria, Switzerland. So we have here around 200 more or less MVPs. So I know them, I talk to them, I try to keep them engaged, and so that they have the feeling to be part of this wonderful family. So it's really a very unique role and very special. And again, I feel super honored to be part of this family.
Speaking of MVPs, Alicia, so for people who are watching or listening and are actually, what are they talking about all the time about MVP, or like what is an MVP? Could you quickly maybe just explain what is an MVP, what does it stand for, and maybe also what it takes to become one?
Yeah, so we, of course. So we are, and that's a good question, because people ask many times. So I'm happy we can cover this a bit. So MVPs are most valuable professionals. So they are technical experts. So they have a lot of knowledge about technology, Microsoft products, but not only Microsoft products, in general, about technology. And they are also willing to share with the rest of the community what they know. So the knowledge alone is not enough. You also need to be very active within the community. As I was mentioning before, in online forums or meetups, conferences, GitHub. So you need to be willing to share what you know with other people. And be willing to help them. And also we are used to say there are 3 steps you need to take to become a most valuable professional or an MVP. Be an expert, do what you love and what makes you happy, and let us know. And indeed, we don't have a checklist you need to go through to become an MVP. Sometimes people ask me, hey, tell me exactly what do I have to do, like taking notes. But we don't have this list. And honestly, we also don't want this list, because we truly believe in diversity, and we believe that different people out of there can bring different expertise, different knowledge, different know-how, different passion into the MVP program. And so this is the most important thing, again, of being an MVP, like having a lot of passion and showing sharing with the community everything you know. And so whether you are someone who is very active on GitHub because you are contributing to open source projects, or you are organizing meetups for your local community, then you should definitely reach out to us, or to me in this case, because I'd love to hear more about how you engage with your community. And basically what you need to do is to let us know. And of course, on mvp.microsoft.com, there are additional details, but in general, you need to let us know what you have done for the community the past 12 months. And once we receive all the community activities or contributions, as we call them, then we'll have one of our community program managers, according to your language or your country, in charge of reviewing everything. And this process can take up to 90 days. So it's quite long, but we really take the time to review carefully everything. And we also collect feedback from different people across the team and the organization, because we want to be sure that we are taking the right decision. And also probably an interesting thing is that it's really not too bad if you are declined the first time, because the bar in the MVP program is so high. So you know what MVPs do. So it's really not that easy to become part of the family. And it can happen that you apply and then you are declined. But what we suggest is to wait a couple of months, let's say 6 months, and then reapply again. And sometimes it really works this way. So this is, I hope I could cover a bit the question.
I thought it was a great overview. Excuse me. And Alice, I don't know if you know this, but I had the privilege to support multiple MVP programs in Microsoft as well. And I've gotten so attached to all of the different MVPs because they really are passionate. It's this beautiful passion that they have. And every time I've worked with the community, they never make me feel like I don't know as much as them. They make me feel like I'm part of the family. And I have to say that during COVID, I give so many kudos to all of the MVPs who really had to think outside of the box in order to keep their status, because MVP is a big status for people in Microsoft. And now I have friends all over the world. And sadly, I have not traveled really abroad. And I have the biggest goal to go to Italy one day. And being that you were born and raised,
let me just jump in. As long as I know Holly, she's talking about Italy, and that's no joke. Literally, it's almost every conversation we have, like privately, always Italy pops up, like her dreams.
Yes.
And
you should visit me, Holly.
I'm here for it. So what's one place in Italy you would say, Holly, you have to go here, and why?
Well, I have to say Sardinia. So it's really beautiful. It's a wonderful island, and that's also, I would say, the only place on earth where I really feel at home. Indeed, I'm always used to say I'm going back home because I think that's the only place where I can relax and calm down and enjoy the weather, the sun, and eat a lot, because my mom is cooking wonderful stuff. So when I'm there, I can't stop eating. I'm eating all the time. And my parents live there, my brother as well. So I would say this is really a wonderful place to visit. And you can visit me for sure. So
if I visit you, if I visit you before I visit Izzy, I think I'm in trouble. But I will put it on my bucket
However,
list.
if we go there together and we meet there on an Italian island.
Or like this, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so many dreams, so many goals, and I know one day they will become a reality. But until
For
then, we're
sure.
still at home or hybrid work. So speaking of Alice, for example, the MVP summit. So I'm fortunate enough to be a Microsoft MVP. However, unfortunately, I received my award in the midst of the pandemic. So that means I haven't had a in-person MVP summit in Redmond, which of course was like one of the most exciting things of becoming an MVP, that you can really like meet the whole family in person at the Microsoft campus. So that's still something I cannot wait, and I really hope in 2023 to finally go to the campus and see all the other MVPs. However, the upcoming edition in March 29 till 31st, it's going to be a virtual MVP summit again. Can you quickly tell us more about what makes you excited about the virtual one and what you miss most about the in-person event?
Yes, so the MVP Summit is the highlight of the year. I love Summit, and I think everybody could tell the same. I especially enjoy the networking part after the technical sessions, because then I can meet with the MVPs and chat about the program, about life in general, drinking a coffee or going for dinner or lunch. So of course, it's great that we can meet online, but this in-person component is really super strong. So this is what I'm missing a lot, like meeting with the MVPs in person. And also, Summit is the perfect occasion for us as a team to come together, because we are a global team. So we don't get the chance to meet in person all the time. And generally, when we are in Redmond, we are used to stay a bit longer for our offsite. So we come together as a team. We discuss in person about strategy, projects. So I'm also missing the team a lot. So Summit means for me MVPs plus the team. But nevertheless, I'm super excited about Summit this year. I hope to meet as many MVPs as possible at the community zone to chat with them. And I'm also looking forward to some of the sessions which will be led by our MVPs, actually, because I'm sure there will be plenty of new things to learn. So I'm truly excited, and I'm looking forward to end of March. And I'll see you there, Izzy for sure.
Absolutely.
Holly, I hope you can also jump in.
I will be popping in and out as well.
Good, then Alicia. Yeah. Go on, Holly.
I was just going to say, I feel like I got this big hug in this conversation. I got a dose of all sorts of culture. And, I think we reminded people in this conversation that there are so many different positions in Microsoft. And I loved hearing about what we're super passionate about, which is managing, running, and really being connected with our tech community. So you're doing amazing work. I feel so thankful that you were on the call today, and I can't wait to meet you personally at a live MVP Summit in Redmond one day soon. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your time with us and just your story. It's beautiful. So I'm happy that we got to have you on the show today.
Well, thank you so much, Holly and Izzy. Again, it was such a pleasure to be here with you today. So thank you for having me as your guest. So really, a truly pleasure.
Big thank you, Alicia. And indeed, as Holly mentioned also before, we all three have this passion for community. Holly, you as well, of course, for the MVP community. I'm part of the MVP family. However, next to that, in my full-time or part-time job at Experts Insight, I'm the community manager there. So yeah, we all have like our ways and our detours, how we land in the community. But one thing we definitely have in common, and that's the big love for it. So we always end our show with a little heart for the community. So thank you so much. And we're looking forward to hear and see more from you, and cannot wait to have that big hug when we all see each other.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this journey today. We'll see you next time.